Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What's Happening. It is Billionaire, and today is another reaction video. And today we'll be discussing the worst travel destinations, because I went on holiday a couple weeks ago. I won't get into where I went, but yeah, I thought I'd just give them a little judge myself and see how bad some of these places can be. Yeah, let's just jump into it.
Welcome to Mojo Travels, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst travel destinations that are still popular.
Are you a fan of our videos? Be sure to subscribe to Mojo Travels and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we're looking at some of the most overrated and consistently disappointing destinations from around the world. Cities, specific landmarks, we're talking about all of the above.
Yeah, I've heard Venice smells.
Number 10. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. Does a lack of structural integrity really make a tower a must-visit attraction? The Italian city of Pisa has long attracted crowds from around the world with its iconic landmark. But ask a traveler who's actually made the trip, and they're unlikely to have a whole lot to say about the experience. Yep, it's leaning. In fact, the government has had to sink a fair amount of time and energy into it to keep it leaning, and not, completely collapsed. If you're looking for a silly photo op, sure, feel free to pretend that you're holding it up. But there's no pose that hasn't been done 1,000 times before. The architecture is reasonably impressive, but Italy is full of impressive and historic structures. Plus, it's smaller in person than you'd expect. Number 9. Touristy London. Call this a hot, or even scorching take if you want, but we stand by it. Look, London is an incredible city, duh. It's culturally and historically rich, with much to offer travelers looking for a rewarding travel experience. The thing is, to actually truly get a real taste of modern-day London, you need to get away from the city center. Approach it like a straight-up tourist and you're going to burn through your budget in a matter of days. And as for all those iconic sites, well, they tend to lose their luster when you have to spend your day waiting in long lines, elbowing through crowds to get a decent view, and then realizing just what limited access you actually have to many of the city's most iconic sites. Also, if you're the sort of traveler whose mood is weather dependent, you might want to skip it altogether. Number 8. Las Vegas, Nevada. Everyone has their own definition of fun. If you're into cheap hotel deals, expensive but lavish buffets, and endless displays of excess, maybe you'll actually have a great time. Oh, also gambling. It's a great place for gambling. All those flashing lights are undeniably mesmerizing. There are a few places on Earth where you're reminded more constantly of the fact that everything around you is man-made. By that same token, all that artifice can make the whole experience feel, well, fake. The Las Vegas Strip is one big adult playground, and your interactions there get old fast. It begins to feel like every conversation that you're having is a transaction or sales pitch. And while at first glance it may seem like Vegas has everything you could ever want, after a day or two, you begin to realize that it's all one big homogeneous experience. Number 7. The CN Tower. Call us jaded, but tall buildings just don't hold the appeal that they once did. Toronto's CN Tower was the tallest building in the world, among other records, until it was eclipsed by the Burj Khalifa in 2007. It undeniably makes for an eye-catching focal point of the Toronto skyline, but is it worth the price of admission to actually go inside? Many people will tell you that the answer is no. It provides a great panoramic bird's-eye view of the city, but 35 Canadian dollars is steep. And there's an additional charge to get to the highest observation point. That's one seriously expensive view. Besides, as any local will tell you, Toronto is the sort of city that you really need to immerse yourself in and explore on foot to fully appreciate. Regardless, the CN Tower remains one of the city's most popular tourist attractions. Number 6. Times Square. It's sort of like Las Vegas, except it's smaller, more crowded, there are no hotel deals to speak of, and gambling is off the table. New York City is a bucket list destination for travelers around the world, and rightfully so. There are few cities on Earth more vibrant or diverse. It's a city of hidden gems, larger-than-life characters, and unique experiences that you really can't find anywhere else. Too bad that so many first-time visitors miss out on all of the above. New York City's authentic charms are often entirely overshadowed by the bright lights of Times Square. And there's literally nothing but tourist traps to be found here. Massive crowds, pricey but terrible restaurants, souvenir shops, and pushy street vendors are pretty much all you'll find. While you're avoiding Times Square, you might as well skip Liberty Island as well. It's best appreciated from afar. Number 5. Venice, Italy. Are you tired of hearing about the over-tourism issues in Venice? Well, so are the locals. The overpopularity of Venice is a lose-lose for everyone involved. The local residents have all but completely lost their regular way of life to the insatiable hunger that tourists have for this remarkable and historic city over water. As a result, it's all but impossible to have anything even vaguely resembling a satisfying or authentic experience there. The city's iconic sites like St. Mark's Basilica and Palazzo Ducale remain intact, but Venice itself feels like a shell of its former self. Storefronts are almost exclusively tourist traps, and there are souvenir shops around every corner. With long lines just to get from A to B, it feels more like a Venice theme park than a functioning city. The local government is making major efforts to address the problem. Here's hoping that change is on the horizon. Number 4. Loch Ness. Hey, if you're just in it for the beautiful landscape, then by all means, please visit Loch Ness. That being said, the Scottish Highland is chock full of picturesque lakes that are less crowded and more affordable. We're not here to argue whether or not the Loch Ness Monster actually exists, but unlike Nessie, let's be real here. You are not going to be the one to spot any creature and finally confirm its existence during your 3-day stay. And here's the thing. All the business that has built up around the loch's namesake creature transparently aims to milk as much as it can from this dubious claim to fame. On average, you're likely to overpay for everything from your accommodations to a cup of tea as a result. Also, people seem to be overwhelmingly disappointed with the Loch Ness Center and exhibition, which has been described as both outdated and overpriced. Number 3. Santorini, Greece. Once upon a time, there was a magical island called Santorini. With its soaring cliffs, breathtaking ocean views, delicious seafood, welcoming people, and charming little towns, it seemed almost too good to be true. But it was real, and those lucky enough to know about it and make the trip quickly fell in love. But then, word spread and the tourists began to arrive by the boatload. Nowadays, during the normal tourist high season, travelers drastically outnumber locals. Tourism has eclipsed all other traditional industries and has brought in cookie-cutter tourist-centric businesses to match. The blue and white city of Ia is theoretically as beautiful as ever, but you can hardly make out the details amidst the throngs of tourists crowding its narrow streets. When an island of only about 15,000 residents plays host to over 2 million visitors a year, the island culture gets crushed. Number 2. The Blarney Stone. Don't get us wrong, we're suckers for a local legend and good old-fashioned folktale, but we also have a
I can't lie, I've never heard of the Blarney Stone in my life. This image here looks like something in bloody The Last of Us.
strong aversion to long lines for attractions that are consistently underwhelming. Sometimes the story surrounding a particular object of fascination is far more compelling than the object itself. Such is the case with the Blarney Stone, which, true to its name, is really just a block of limestone. Set in place on Blarney Castle in 1446, the rock has a number of conflicting origin stories, but the general consensus is that it gives the gift of gab, as in eloquent speech. All you have to do is lie down and plant a big kiss on the centuries-old rock. Spoiler, people don't generally report suddenly having a newfound way with words, but people keep visiting this tourist trap and paying good money for it. Kissing a high-touch surface these days? No thanks. Number 1. Christ the Redeemer. The city of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil has one of the most iconic skylines in the world. Seriously, between its towering mountains, the beachfront, and this awe-inspiring statue, it looks more like concept art for a fantasy film than anything else. So, to be clear, we highly recommend checking out this incredible city. But, like New York City's Statue of Liberty, the Christ the Redeemer statue is better appreciated from afar. Its impact is most valuable as part of the bigger metropolitan picture and the sense of drama it brings to the city as a whole. It doesn't need to be seen up close and personal, because when you get up there, it's honestly smaller than you'd expect. Plus, there's always a massive crowd, effectively making it impossible to get the dreamy sort of photo op that you've been imagining. If you want a great view of the city, considering checking out Pal de Azúcar, Sugarloaf Mountain, instead.
Do you agree?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a short video from me, but yeah, very surprised that Paris went on there, because I've heard very bad things about Paris, and I think it's very overrated. But yeah, half of those places I'd like to travel to. I can't lie. The only one, the Blarney Stone, is probably not really my sort of thing, but everywhere else I'd like to travel to and see at least once. And well, I've travelled to London, obviously, but I'm saying I haven't travelled around all of London. But yeah, I'd like to see, and then yeah, I can make my mind up from instead of taking her word for it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button. Hit the comments. You know, go all Quasimodo, do a Notre Dame, ring that bell to turn the notifications on, and press the subscribe because we need it. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next video. In a bizzle.